Hey guys, welcome back. It's Grim Reaper coming at you for another video for Raidshadowlegends. Hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully you're looking after yourselves and having a positive start to wherever you are in the world and having a fantastic start to the week. We're back on BM's account today, and we're going to do a video on a champion showcase where a champion is a bit divided amongst the community, and I wanted to give you my thoughts and how I would build this champion and really kind of make her stand out. Now, recently, me and Nubs, we did a collab on my channel and his channel. I'll put both the videos down in the description. And if you're not already sub to Nubs' channel anyway, then I would recommend to go ahead and do that. Fantastic content creator overall, and really great content. So we did speak about like what champions that surprise us in this live arena meta in seasons, and he mentioned his champion. And to be honest, like I was also talking about her because she messed me up a few times as well. Now, I'm obviously talking about the divided champion, NELL BLACKTEETH. Now, I have access to one on BM's account. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if this is like the best way of building her right now. I've never used her. I've seen her used against me. And when she has been used against me, mainly on my account, I feel like there's some bits and bots which I'll get into. So why is she so useful then? So it's basically all about this ability here. Um, Sorry, not this one. It's all about this ability here. This is her bread and butter, basically, and this is what makes her difficult to kind of play against with the right champion. So she'll steal all buffs from all enemies, decreases the target turn meter by 10%, and decreases each turn meter by additional 5% for each debuff on them. So kind of crazy ability, honestly. Instantly activates all poisons debuffs on the enemy as well, and then places sleep debuff on all enemies without poisons debuff. And then it's just a cooldown, no ignore resistance, which is a little bit odd actually. I think all mythicals have that. And then she'll attack all enemies, she'll place a defense down and weaken on all enemies for 2 turns, and then fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%. So we have like a turn meter increase as well. And then she has a A1 that steals 10% of the target turn meter, steals an additional 5% turn meter for each debuff on the enemy. Also has a 75% chance of placing a true fear and will ignore resistance on this ability, which is really odd. I feel like player could have just not put anything there and saved us the book. This one ignores 20% resistance. And it's obviously about passive as well. So the passive and the A2 is what making people use her. Now, if we look at the base stats are fairly good. 112 for a damage dealer, amazing. Tack on the is really on low end, but this is her support option side, so it will be low. And then we'll have a look at a damage dealing side in a second. So whenever an enemy receives a buff, is healed, or has a 10 meter increase, places a poison on them on the enemy for 2 turns, will ignore block debuffs as well. So CFs, etc., are like her bread and butter. Increases champion's turn meter by 5% of each poison debuff placed on them by the skill. So I will talk about what I really think in a second about her and etc. And is she like S tier or anything like that? Short answer, no. But I will talk about her in a second, a bit more detail. So tactical enemies, true fear placed on them for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked by enemies with 50% less HP or lower. Then she has attack one enemy 2 times, 2% deals 100% more damage on enemies under a CC, basically. And if this target is killed, instantly activates the Fear of Terror skill, which is the AoE on the A3, which is pretty nice. Then she'll attack one enemy 4 times. 4 hitters, always pretty cool. Each hit will ignore 30% of the target defense, and each hit will also decrease the target max HP by 25%. Now, this doesn't really do much in arena, to be honest. It's kind of a bit meh. But yeah, kind of one of them ones. If the target is not a boss, or place a shield on his champion with 25% of the target HP, which should be quite small. And then she has a passive. Whenever this champion kills an enemy using an active skill, grants this champion an extra turn. Each debuff placed by this champion in other forms will increase this champion's HP, attack, defense by 2, stacks up to 50, and places a speed by 2 as well, stacks up to 50. in alt forms. And then you see actually on attack it's 1500s, which I'll be honest, for a mythical I would like to see a bit more. I think there's a lot of legendaries now with around about the same attack. And then with the speed, it's really good speed. I do like the speed on the damage dealer. Now, she looks pretty sweet when we're talking about art, but I'll be honest, I don't really care about the art when I'm pulling champions of Raidshadowlegends. I'm kind of a little bit different. I play this game because I enjoy it, obviously. The strategy and etc. Whatever we have outside the RNG, and just it's a cool game to look at as well. But when I'm pulling a champion, I want them to be OP, and especially when they're mythical status, I want them to be very, very strong. Now, well, the reason why she has a lot of uh, low level ratings is because for a mythical, she doesn't offer much, and I still think she's usable. But the problem is she's niche, right? She kind of fits in that category where she fits into like a Torment or a Hedgie or that kind of role. And that is a little bit underwhelming for a mythical, if I'm being honest, right? And it's really important to be honest. Now, yeah, she has catch me by surprise and she can do a lot of damage, but we're talking about accounts that don't have like the crazy mythicals like the Star Sage, the niece and etc. And she doesn't offer anything to these champions. So if you pull her, I still think she's usable, but it depends on your roster. And I think that is also the problem. Most people that do have fat roasters like BM, and she's just not going to make any of the teams, even when it comes to the niche pick. So I think she does need a slight buff overall from Plarium to make her more usable, even for Krakens and etc. I think if you're free to play low spender, I think there's definitely the times where you can pick her, but you won't pick her for every fight, and that is the problem. You pull a mythical, you want to be using them for 90% of your fight, especially in live arena or PvP arena, where you shouldn't be trying to use a mythical status champion in a 10% or 20% of her fights, and this is why she gets all the hate, and it's deserved hate as well. Do I still think she's fantastic though? Yeah, she is fantastic if she was a legendary status. So I do think her kit is still a little bit underwhelming. I still think there is possibilities of using her, and that's what we're going to showcase today. So I will drop timestamps down below. We're going to go ahead and jump into arena and look at damage test with her. So when I do my damage test, we like to go into arena and do the damage test. None of this stuff on Dragon or anything like that. We want to see the pure damage that she can offer in the arena. So let's go ahead and do it. Right, okay, so we are back. Obviously, we're going to use increased speeds with her. And the only time that really you're going to be picking her in arena is when you're facing people fasting you that have a lot of increased speeds or buffs on them. So someone like a Valkyrinus, for example, would fit in the same role, but probably better at his job, honestly, and etc. Now, I do have the relic to increase the damage on her against when the enemies are in the poison, so she'll get additional 2% ignore defense, and I think that's going to be super key. But again, do you really want to hear from a content creator that she's going to be amazing dragon for the poisons as a mythical, or you need a relic to really make a pop, or you need a blessings to really make a pop? No, you don't want to hear that, right? She's a mythical champion. End of the day, she should have that mythical status, being on the same paths as like the Lazarius, the Sigfords, etc. And she needs to be on that level. Now, she's not even going to be great in Dragon, in all fairness, because the Dragon doesn't put up any buffs or does any turn meter. So you're not even going to land any poisons on her, which is just underwhelming. So she's not even going to be great there. So like PvP, actually great in for PvE content. What, defense down a weekend? Like, come on, there's legendaries. I think there's even epics now that can do this, right? So it's one of them ones as a disappointment. Now, we're in a 4-piece Savage and we're in a 4-piece Pinpoint, because I wanted to kind of really showcase something else as well, which could be another factor. Now, you can see here, 4-piece Pinpoint, and I've already, the Pinpoint's already disappeared for whatever reason. The Pinpoint has ever disappeared. I think that's because of the freeze from Torment. She's put one poison and she's nearly got frozen already, so that's going to be quality. And then you can see there's the freeze, right? Which is not what you want to see a little bit there. So you see here, we're going to get some poisons coming through on the Torment. And we're not going to do much. I just want Sifi to do her turns. There's a few buffs as well. Now we can steal the turn meter and all buffs here, which is what we'll do. We'll target the Sifu. And you see there's the turn meter drop, etc., which is pretty nice. The steal is pretty nice. And now we've got block buffs, strengthen, shields, etc. That's pretty nice to see, but again, mythical. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if I can sell that, to be honest. And I don't want to be biased, or I don't want to be too harsh. You know, like there could be a chance where she's great and we're all overlooking her. There could be a mistake on that. But I also don't want to be delusional. So you can see here, there's all the poisons going up. So it's pretty useful. Like, I mean, how many poisons UDK got right now? That's pretty cool to see. Is it good enough? I don't think so, really. So we can't do the defense down ability. So I'm going to switch forms, and then we're going to see what her damage is like. And this is going to be the alt form. Now we've got no increase attack. Shouldn't really matter if you increase attack, especially this ability ignoring ignore defense. So does it ignore defense? Yeah, sorry, it doesn't ignore defense. She gets a damage increase of 100% if the enemies are under true fear, etc. So let's put this on 1x speed. This is not the most tankiest team, but as a mythical, I expect her to wipe this, right? If I'm being honest. 54k to 74k. Not great damage. Good damage with no increased attack, but not crazy good damage, right? Like, I'm expecting more. I mean, Sigfrid's is basically doing millions on a very, very good build. So, 100k on the A2. Okay, not bad. No increased attack. The A1 pops off there, which is pretty nice. Which is very, very useful. Oh, my bad. Sorry, I was meant to press the 2x. Let's do the A1 again. So the good news is, like, she cycles through her abilities very fast, right? So that is one thing to kind of take into consideration. She did do 361k damage, which is interesting. It looks impressive on screen, but when we start looking at the damage through that, I would be honest, I'm not too impressed by that. So for mythical, interesting. Yeah, anyway, let me go and try and find some more teams. We are quite low down in the arena, so I'm going to try and find some good teams and just make this video a little bit better and editing on that side. So okay, so we're going to tag on attack like this. There isn't much turn meter, but we have some buffs and etc. I'm not going to throw any UDK because I think like it'd be an unfair test against the Rodus. If we throw in the UDK, we will use our bias, which should be an increased attack. I'm not going to throw any more OP mythicals. We could throw Marius in for good measure, but I feel like it would kind of unscale the balance. So we're just going to use the 3 champions and see what she can offer here. I'm going to go increase the speed back up. And then we'll just see like what can she really do on the main scale. So we haven't got any big abilities or anything to really worry about. There isn't really any skills to kind of remove. So I guess we want poisons to go up. So I'm going to try and steal the stone skin, which we do get. That's pretty nice. And then we'll put our revive on death. She's going to do a cleanse, which is fine. This will get a few poisons out, just 1 or 2. There's a damage reduction. It might have been actually a good idea keeping that still to do the cleanse. All right, let's see what we can do here. We've got the increased attack on us. We've got the AoE. We can put no true fears out, which is fine. Or we can do the big hitter on the 8-2, which there's no extra damage right now coming in. So we will set off the Royal's passive, which is going to be something I want to make a case of in a second. So let me go ahead and reduce this. Not even one-shotting. I understand that it's strengthened up and etc., but this team is literally like a level 94 team. So the gear is not even amazing, right? So this style of teams, she is literally no good against, and this is the problem with her. And this is why she got so many low ratings, because people don't want to see this from a mythical, and that's just being brutally honest. They don't want to see this, and I can totally understand that as a low spender through that, and I'm not trying to talk bad of her. I'm just trying to be real with that. So we got the 42k there. We did one shot the Duchess, but she was like half dead. I suppose one hit went into the UDK as well, etc. Okay, so Rose is going to cause some problems. So you can always see that Rose is a problem for her. Interesting. I'm starting to see some of the poisons are from Father Life Pain. I was starting to see some poisons come back around there. Okay, so we got the A1, try and take out Rhodas. It's a 4-hitter, so it's good against Rhodas, and it reduces damage on the A1. So I guess the A1 is fairly good. I mean, we've been in this fight 2 minutes. I've done a little bit of talking, but I don't feel like I've done too much talking. I mean, I'm still doing the fight. And this is just basic champions. Let me go ahead, swap forms, see if we can cause some mischief with the strips. So we get the UDK, because it does require accuracy, which is another downside of her. If she didn't require accuracy for like these abilities, I think she'd be way more usable, honestly. And she can weak it as well on them abilities, which again, you don't want to see. So we've been petrified like 3 times. We're going to see this damage in a second on the UDK. Now I think it's because the UDK's got healing, which I think is what's causing the poisons to go onto him. Let's see. Okay, cool. Not a lot of damage there. Bear in mind, we're running a 3-man team, but I don't really want to overpower the showcase with other mythicals. And BM's account's very OP, so it's like using our bias is like using Arbiter, I guess, in some sense. Just the fact that she's not going to die to the Rhodas. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and find another team then that's ideal for. Actually, I could see a Arbiter. Now, Arbiter does like increase speed, etc. This is a team that could easily hammer us if the Sung Wong comes up at the right time, which we'll see me and another content creator speak about in a video this week when that drops. So they've got another collab on the way. Trying to do a collab now, like every 2 weeks if I can. I really want to do more collabs. I think that the audience, well, a lot of people on Twitch are asking for that as well, so it's good content for them. Okay, so we can see that Still is there. She's really successful with that stone skin. That's one thing to kind of notice. And then, like, we really want them to take a turn, right? So, it hasn't took a turn yet. Now, if this, we just got resisted on the defense down there, which is a bit disappointing. Again, these teams are a bit slower than us, so... Let's have a look. There's a few poisons out. Can we finish them though? That's a different question. I would like if I made one change on a kit, I would like her to have increased attack on herself, so she could always have increased attack. That would really help her. I don't feel like that team did too much, to be honest, for us. Okay, so we have Sephoria on here, which could be a nuisance for us. The best way to attack this would be maybe we would just team her up with Star Sage, right? I know I said not to use mythicals to meet it's AoE with a Georgie, so it's not. Okay, so here we go. Let's go. Let's go. These two versus her, and see what she can do. It's 2 increased speed champions. There's a couple of buffs as well. There's a couple of poisons. Now you can see that the poisons don't get put on before the stone skin, which is a problem, right? And again, if you don't have stone skin, then if you don't have stone skin, she dies. Especially if they go before you. And that is another problem for her, which is another downside of her. But how can you get pinpoint Savage and stone skin? Because she doesn't hit hard enough without Savage. Like, I mean, her stats are not bad as it is. She can't barely kill with that. But I do feel like there is times where she's really, really lethal. So let's bring her that bias. And we'll kind of just see her through action, so we're faster. And like so. Okay, now we can strip all buffs, so we have 50-50 chance against the stone skin. If you fail that, you're dead. Now, that's the first time she's failed stone skin, in all fairness. It's the first time. So again, interesting one for sure. So how would you really line her up? Well, she needs increased speed champions for sure. So Sifi definitely needs to come in here. And then maybe you throw in another champion that's quite difficult to deal with, that's got a little bit meter to support her in a role. So like Amads and Sonic or a Fabian. I took the gear off Fabian to use, so we're going to use the Amads, unfortunately. And yeah, maybe we'll just purposely slow this down as well. So we will be faster for sure, because I know that we're faster on this account. I'll go ahead and do stuns. And then we'll sheep him. Nice. And then we're going to come in and do the AoE. Now, bear in mind, they got low HP, etc., so that will increase our damage a lot. 75k. 75k against squishy teams. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so let's not worry about the second form, because when I'm facing her and she's causing me problems, people are not using the second form, right? They're using the first form and they're using like a go second team around her. So, for example, we're going to use her. We're going to use Necro to keep us alive. I think he's in shield set. It's a really bad build. And then we're going to use the Star Sage as like a go second champion. And then we will use the Queen of Hearts as well. Let's use this team. I know that Star Sage is a very OP champion, but I want to see like what damage she could just offer through the passive and the steal, right? And that's going to be the most important bit. So there's a couple of poisons. Obviously, we're going to get pinpoint. Sorry, the Terminator dropped, and our pinpoint gets stunned, and now she gets polymorphed. So he's got one sheep. The pinpoint procced already, and then she got sheeped. So, not great to kind of showcase, if I'm being honest. So let's try again. And by the way, in a light arena, you don't get a chance, a second chance. So I'll try again. Let's have a look then. We want him to go first. We're going to Armads coming in, dropping 10 meter. He's going to go ahead and sheep us. We get sheeped. And then obviously we cut in. So we're going to polymorph, feeble. True fear does not proc on my favor. And now we can start seeing some poison damage coming in. We'll try to get a block revive on Marius there, which we did not get for some reason. We still killed before that. We do get polymorphed again. So you will see here that the poisons can kill, right? Like, this is team, a squishy team. It can do the job. And it can do the job a little bit better than Torment. Especially when they have block buffs, because Torment doesn't do anything against block buffs. But again, we also have very strong champions. So let's go ahead and do that. So I think like with the right go second strats, like with Queen of Hearts, for example, you could definitely use I feel like with actually with Queen of Hearts could be a bit of a problem. But she's a gamble card, she's a wild card. Which again, from a mythical point of view, I think I want a bit more. If we go ahead and try to finish up this fight. I'm actually going to flip forms because we do got the True Fear already. I do like this second ability more, to be honest. Against overall. So that's a one option. I feel like it was a fairly decent team in all fairness. It wasn't too bad. What else? What other teams do we have? I mean, we have a couple of mythicals down there, but it's a really low level mythic champion person. So we have someone here who's in Supreme Club. Been playing since 2023. Oh, he's got 2 epics in there. That's not very good. Okay, cool. Let's try something like this, right? We have the lockout, which is a bit of a problem for us. Let me drop the Star Sage because it's not great to run a mythical in here. So let me go with a UDK, I guess. And then we just try and make this team as awkward as possible. So she has accuracy in all arena as well by 100. I think that's the biggest in the game, if I'm not mistaken, for arena. Which I guess no one's actually took into consideration. Maybe well, most of the time you should be using speed, but for like go seconds, could be an option. So we're gonna go ahead and do this. We can see that we're taking some damage. We can tank this up. Siegfried dies from that ability. And there's not much we can really do, but if we swap forms, we lose the passive ability, right? But being mythical, we're gonna swap forms. Okay, cool. Her damage is low, but she can move for her abilities quickly, which kind of makes up for it a little bit. Like, she gets a shot to kill, she can do a job. And I think this is a better showcase for, like, kind of showing her off a little bit. But this team is not exactly very Kraken. It's got a couple of mythicals in. You know, she could do a job against Siegfried for sure. Because she killed him without proccing a passive, which is something to take into consideration. Like, she could be a wild card against Siegfried, right? Make it slow in Stone Skin, etc. So I don't really want to take on that style of team because it's like go second team. And she's just no good against go second team. She needs to be in the go second team. So let's see if we can find any more better teams. I mean, we have a Trender. Let's see what she can do against like a straight out fast team. And this is a style of teams that she is good against. And like example, when me and Nubs are talking about her, our account look a little bit like this, right? But with probably much better gear. But I wouldn't say our HP and defense is much better. And you can see here, it's quite clearly killing our enemies. We took like half the health, etc. And this is where, but if there's no Sifi, is Torment a better pick? If there was a Sifi and you have a Valkanus, is a Valkanus better pick? Because they do the same kind of job and they fit in the same kind of roles. Is a Queen of Hearts a better pick? Is a Sonic Set a better pick? Is a Hegemon a better pick? Are they more reliable as well? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Now, obviously, we do the big drop there, which we do wipe the team there. So again, if you're a low spender, etc., and you're facing these sort of teams in live arena, she works, she does a job. But as a mythical overall, I still think she's a little bit underwhelming. But I think like against low spender accounts, etc., she does have a spot. Like we've got this team here. We have the Hegemon. We're under protection from the Necrid. I mean, there isn't really. I mean, Necrid is kind of still OP against the right people, especially the Queen of Hearts as well. But we can see that come in. There's the poisons. There's the poisons. We're going to get the cut in. So this will give us the true fear, which would be great. But then she loses her stone skin. We can do a strip. Let's a block revive, etc. So against species speed teams, she has a job, right? But there's other people who I feel is more accessible. I say Torment's accessible because it was a Titan event 2 years ago. Hegemon's been in the game for like 4 years. So a lot of in-game players do have a Hegemon, especially like low spenders as well. Especially the done P recipe back in the day when it was meta, etc. So I'll be honest, like as a champion and for a niche, she needs more. It's not good enough, right? Anyway, this is our build. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree. I'm kind of curious. These are the stats that we're running. So she's at 271 speed. It's fairly reasonable speed as a nuka. We have a nuka damage coming in at 333 critical damage, and then she's got 416 accuracy with 5,500 attack. Then on the second form, she has a whopping 7,200 attack, 394 speed, 326 critical damage, and yeah, 100% critical rate, obviously. Now, the problem is she needs pinpoint. So the pinpoint is a must. I personally think that it might be better to run Stone Skin instead of Savage and take full utility. So I'll be honest, I think if I was going to use her, I would book the first form, but I wouldn't book the form 2. I would take full advantage of that full of form 1. Now, this is the relic that we're talking about. This relic will give the wearer a ignore defense for 2% of the defense for each poison on them, and then it stacks up by its wearer. There is, I think, cat gaze, etc., are still better, if I'm being honest, but that's just my opinion. The lethal dose is obviously the blessing that you want to go, so you can take full advantage of this. It will ignore 30% of the target resistance when placing spoiler speed, etc. Increases the damage that they receive from poisons by 200% on a 5-star, and it will be, doesn't even go up, it's just ignore resistance check after that. So she doesn't need like a ton of accuracy, but to be honest, because she needs accuracy, this really drops her damage and also makes her a bit underwhelming. So I think if she has that ignore resistance, that helps her. If they make the poisons unresistible and she wasn't to need accuracy for that, I think this is a game changer. I think that makes her way, way, way more powerful. She didn't need accuracy. She still doesn't have a way to keep herself alive, so she still wouldn't be on the same level as Sigford because it's passive. He still wouldn't be the same as like Gizmak, etc., because Gizmak is HP based and support. So she has all this to her. She still wouldn't be on the same level, but she would be better. But it really depends on your roster if you build her or not. I feel like if you had something similar to BM or similar champions to BM, or even better legendaries and you're more like tight on gear, I think that she would not be at the top of the shopping list, which is disappointing as a mythical. So I guess I've been rumbling on overall. I'm gonna rate her as a mythical. I'm still gonna rate her 6 out of 10. I think if she was legendary, I'd give her 8 out of 10 for her form 1. But I still think there's a spot on her for most accounts, especially in this meta. The problem is if it comes away from speed meta, I don't see a place for her in the arena, and that's gonna be the problem. So if you go up against a lot of CFs, arbiters, etc., and you want something different from like a Torment, or if you want to play them together with a Torment, especially if there's no Sifi or if you have a Valkanus, then I still think there's something to do, and I think I'd probably build her slower so we can take more of advantage of the stone skin to protect her as well. So yeah, that's my honest review of her. She needs a bit of a buff. But she's got a niche. But her problem here, the problem is you don't want a niche for mythical, and that is the end of it. Really, I don't think I need to say anymore. I'm trying to see this as a player point of view, as a content creator as well. I'm trying to be fair. I'm not trying to let my judgment or my hate for her deep down affect my opinion, and I'll try and be fair as possible. Anyway, that is it for today's video, guys. As usual, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I've been Grim. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.